Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing with you my completed pages for the month of July. I'm a little late this month on sharing my pages with you guys. I am having a busy couple of months getting ready for a vacation that I'm going on the second week of September. And so I've been prepping for that and getting ready for everything and doing a lot of planning, and with work I've been busier. So I didn't get quite as many pages this month as I did in June. And I'm, like I said, getting this up a little bit late for you guys. But I'm really excited to share with you the pages, because the pages that I did do, I played a lot with the new media that I shared in my recent haul and playing around with new patterns and techniques. So I'm excited to share that. So the pages I did do, I spent a little more time experimenting. So I'm really excited to share that. But I did 8 total pages, and one of them I'm about to show you. I did the practice how to draw patterns book. I did a couple in there, but I'm calling that one page. And then I did one buddy color with Chelsea Biggity from Instagram, who I did a buddy color with in June. And then I did 3 untouched books, and then I have 1 whip to share with you. So I'm new to doing my little statistics here, but I was excited to track that and continue to track it. And I think it will really push me to want to get even more pages done and hit more statistics. So, and thank you all who left on my haul video. I asked for suggestions of what statistics you follow, and I was really interested about that. So thank you all for leaving some suggestions. And then the first couple of pages, like I said, are in Coco Wyo's How to Draw Patterns. And I want to show you this first so I can show you, before I show you the actual page that I used these patterns on, how I practiced. So there were a couple times where I thought I want a water effect on this page, and another one was I want a pebble or stone effect. So I pulled this out and really loved using it to practice. Now I don't love the way that this turned out, but it helped me so that then when I did it on the actual page, I'm more happy with the end result. So here it says this is ocean foam, but this makes me really think of like true summer. There's something about the water effect of the sun hitting the water and it, making a pattern on the bottom of the pool. So I really wanted to use this on one of my pages that I'm excited to share with you. But like I said, the white on this is just thicker than I meant for it to be, and it has a lot more of the smaller holes. And so I left a lot more of the blue coming through in the final one that I did on my page. And the other texture I played around with is this stone path, which I was much more happy with. And like I said, I'm doing a page that is actually my whip that I'm going to share with you for a buddy color. And it has a stone walkway, and I wanted to make it look like it was a dirt ground with grass coming through. So I looked in here to see if they had that, and they did. And then I practiced here and did that on the actual page. And I think it really made the page have a lot more depth and interest. So I'm really excited to share that one with you as well. But those are a couple of patterns that I played around with in this book. Next, I did a page in Coco Wyo's Pocket World. And this one, I have a lot to say about this. It kind of looks like a fever dream, and I have a lot to unpack here. And I probably will give you a close-up in a second because there's so much going on. But I really had fun with it. Like I always say in these completed pages videos. First off, the clouds, I played around with going over the black lines with my white acrylic paint pens. And I think the lines are a little bit thicker. Had I gone back, I might have done it with my Jelly Roll pen and taken my time with it, because since I used a paint marker, it is much of a thicker line, and I think it can make it look a little bit sloppier. I don't know, I'm kind of undecided. It makes the clouds look fluffier, so I don't know, but I was really happy when I added the purple, like when I went back over it to add some dimension and depth. I think that really made a big difference, but I'm still not sure how I feel about the white. I think I like it. And then on the bubbles here, same thing. I outlined those in white, which I've found when I do that with bubbles, it really makes a difference on making them look real. Again, I might have done a thinner white, but I went over that with the Mod Podge Extreme Glitter that I showed you guys in my haul, and I think those turned out really neat. And then I also used my gel sticks, my King Art gel sticks on the background here with my new oval round brushes and blended that out. I actually showed this picture to my husband, and he said he felt like maybe the background needed something, and he said maybe like a light yellow. And so I thought, you know what, this page is kind of my page of experimenting and playing around with different stuff, so I thought I'll do it. So I added that to the background. But the thing I'm most excited about with this page is the glossy accents on the floaties. It kind of made them look 3D and a pop off the page at you since they're that glossy effect. The beach balls I had a really difficult time with because at first I did them a rainbow and I didn't like it, and I looked up a real image of a beach ball and noticed that they have white stripes as well. So then I used a mixture of whiteout and my jelly roll pens to go over that and correct it, but it just kind of made a mess of back and forth with the white and the black. I've told you guys I struggle with that a lot of times when I mess with eyes on a page. It can be so tricky, and then I just end up going back and forth with the black and the white and trying to get it looking right. So that happened with these beach balls where it was kind of all over the place. And I thought that putting the glossy accents would help cover up the mistakes, but it just kind of, they look dull. I don't know. I wish I would have looked up a beach ball before I started coloring them because I would have been happier with it if I just started with these colors to begin with. And then the other thing I did is obviously the water effect. So like I said, there's a lot going on this page, but I wanted something really fun and summery as we're getting to the end of summer here. And I think I did that. I think it was really fun and summery, and I got to play around with a bunch of different things. And it was honestly a pretty quick page. It's pretty simple since these images are, well, that one's not, but some of these are really quite simple. So there wasn't a ton to color, and that helped me not feel as intimidated to try new things. Here is a better look close up of the floaties. So I did this up here, and then obviously all of these. But you can see even around these beach balls how I messed up and the whiteout got there, and yeah, they just weren't perfect. And the water effect isn't perfect either, but I feel like I'll get better and better with that the more I do it. And then the extreme glitter just blows me away. But yeah, my favorite part of this is definitely the glossy accents. I mean, how fun is that? I just loved it. And the fact that it makes them 3D too, like the balls. Let me see if I can show you. Well, you can't really see, but these are really 3D. Even more so, because I went over them twice to make them 3D balls. So anyway, I had a lot of fun with it. And then of course I used these as inspiration, and I went a little bit off of that, obviously, like adding in the purple, but I liked to use this little floaty as an example here. And then I used this for the umbrellas and the banners here and the surfboards. And so yeah, I thought this was a really, like I said, fun page, and really enjoyed playing around with my new supplies. Next, I continued to practice with colored pencils in Tiny Tales. This is back to the volume 1, so I have been alternating every other month doing the volume 1 and the volume 2 to get better with colored pencils. So we first saw me doing this page, and then I did a page in the volume 2 last month, and then this is the page that I worked in July. So I feel like I'm getting better and better every time. Of course, there's still so much room for improvement, but I had a lot of fun blending with this one, having the lighter colors at the top and the darker down here, blending with some different shades on this flower, which is not perfect, and I wish the tips were a little bit less yellow. You can also see on here the light green to the dark. And then I was really excited about using the metallic Prismacolor pencil on this base here. I don't know if you can see that has a bit of a sheen to it. But yes, I did this completely with Prismacolor, and then I used my new Uniball fine liners that I shared with you in my most recent haul, and went over the line since the colored pencils went over the black lines a little. And I think that really made it pop. And I love those liners, by the way. I've been absolutely obsessed with using them this month. I like them way better than my Pigment Microns. And yeah, I feel like I'm getting better, and I'm excited since one of you gifted to me Joanna Basford's, is it tiny victories or small victories? I always say the flip of what I think it, I always say the wrong way, whichever. I also have that book now to add into my, as a practice book that I can use each month. And then once I feel comfortable, I will start working on a bigger page in one of my new Joanna Basford books. So I am really enjoying continuing to practice with colored pencils. I'm excited about learning more. I still need to get Gamsol because a lot of you say that really makes a difference. And so I still want to try that out. But for now, I'm just getting familiar with it, doing it regular, and using a colorless pencil blender to blend it out. But I'm really, really enjoying it. And also having my new colored pencil case that I shared with you guys has been a game changer too, to take that around with me and to have them better organized. So yeah, I'm just really excited about my colored pencil journey and appreciate you being along for the ride. Next, I pulled out my Country Seasons book by Ava Brown again, and I did this page. So I love, as you guys know, feeding the birds outside and cleaning and filling my bird bath outside. So I decided to do this page again to try to lean into summer the last couple months that I can. And this has always been one of my favorite color palettes from Sarah Renee Clark. And so I chose to do that on this page, and I kept to it pretty well with the yellow and then the different browns and the cream and then the pinks here, of course. And these are not colors I would normally use, but because a lot of my markers are dying, I'm trying to pull out ones that I don't normally use because it's hard to get refills. And so I'm actually enjoying doing that and discovering new shades that I don't normally use and challenging myself in that way. And so again, had a lot of fun with this page. There's something about this book that feels extra nostalgic. I think just because it's, a lot of my other books are, you know, you've got the classic Bold and Easy, or I don't know, I can't think of what I'm trying to say here, but these images just look like the kind of thing that my grandmother printed off for me when I was at her house when I was young. Just some simple images that I would just color when I went over to her house and when I was like in preschool learning how to color. There's something about these images that are nostalgic to me. I'm not sure why, but I just love it. And I love how thick this book is and that it has 100 images. I don't have any other book like that. So I really like pulling it out. And it also was one of my first coloring books. But anyway, the other thing I enjoyed with this page is shading with my colored pencils. And I actually have a before photo. And this time I took an image before and after in the same lighting so that it would be a fair comparison. I know last month I showed you with the dog page a before, an after picture and before of the colored pencils, but the lighting was so different you couldn't quite tell. But here you can see in the leaves especially, I really enjoyed the shading, and I was really, really happy with the way it came out, especially above the bird and the big leaves, because something about the way that those are shaded reminds me of what I've seen other people do with colored pencils in Joanna Basford's book. And I'm always like, how do people get that smooth blend with the highlights? And I'm not even really sure how I did it on those leaves, but something about it, it's probably because I think I used 3 or 4 shades and was patient with it and used more colors to create a better blend. And so that actually really taught me a lot about shading. I also shaded a lot on the actual little bird bath here, and I don't love the fence, and I tried to play around with it and used acrylic markers to try to cover up what I did. But the brown that I used on the left side of the post was too dark, and it was kind of clashing with the brown of the tree trunk. So I tried to blend that, and then it wasn't working. So then I tried to go over it with a cream acrylic marker to kind of blend it into the fence better. And it still is just not quite the way that I would like it to be, but that's okay. Otherwise, I'm happy with this page. And I really love the bird. I think that it turned out really neat. And actually, I also could show you the image of the bird that I was using as an example. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then also, again, I have been loving covering up black lines with white and kind of experimenting with that as well. So I'm doing a lot of new things. I'm trying to grow and learn, and I love learning from other people's techniques. So that's part of the fun of coloring, is testing stuff out. But you'll see I do have some pages here where I didn't test it out and I just did what I know, and I had a lot of fun with that too. So anyway, finding that middle ground. And then I used number 466, and then this one that I was talking about earlier is number 400 of the color palettes. And again, this is Ava Brown's Country Seasons. Next, I did a page in Cute Spots by Lila's Coloring, and this is what I was just talking about, where I just did a simple page, and I had so much fun with this one, especially because I wasn't doing anything new and I was just watching YouTube, turned off my mind, and had a fun time with it. And it was simple, it's bold and easy, and I love the art in this book with the little houses and things and the themes of each. So this is Berry Book Nook, and my niece was very excited when she saw it. She's into strawberry shortcake, and so we told her that this is where strawberry shortcake would go and get her books. But anyway, yes, I had fun with it. I need to add a little bit more shading to, well, probably I could add shading to all of it, but especially probably like underneath the leaves, and add some more shading to the strawberry and in these windows to deepen them up. But again, I enjoyed keeping it simple. So that's this page, pretty straightforward, and I think I only used my Ohuhu markers and then my jelly roll for the highlights. I went a little crazy with the highlights, but that's okay. Anyway, again, this is in Lila's Coloring Cute Spots. Next, I did a page in Woodland Watercolor, and you may have seen me already post this as a color with me or trying out colored pencils video. Someone bought me some Derwent Inktense pencils, and I played around in a recent video with those on this page. This is on premium 200 GSM watercolor paper, and I raved about this book in that video, but I just love the artwork in it. Love that it's on this lovely paper. She just came out with another new book as well, Claire Gray, and I can't remember what it's called right now, but I'm hoping to get that one as well because I really love her style. And again, I really enjoyed doing this page. It has a nice little border here, as you may have seen in that video, because I had it taped down with washi tape. And I used my King Art gel sticks again on the background with those oval brushes to blend it out. And the watercolor paper created a really cool texture. And then I added a little bee and a butterfly that are way too tiny for scale. So it makes me laugh. And everything else is the Derwent pencils, I believe. And looking at it now in that video, there was a certain point in editing that video where I wished I would have stopped because I think it looked better. I think there's a certain level of the blue greens here that I wished was muted down. I wish it was more like this green and not this bright, vibrant blue, like turquoise. But now looking at it after I've taken, it's been a couple weeks since I did it, I feel happier with it. I think I was just comparing it to that one point in the video that I wished I would have stopped. Like I had these white, and I don't know, I kind of wish I would have left them white. But then again, all of this up here looked unfinished. So I don't know. But either way, it's wildflowers. It's fun. I got to play around with something new once again. It was just a month of really experimenting, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow and practice with the Derwent Inktense pencils because I don't even think I've scratched the surface of all that they can do. So I'm looking forward to that. But that was one page I was really excited about this month. And again, this is by Claire Therese Gray. Next, the final book before my whip is in Stained Glass Wildlife, and this is by Sin Ung. And I did 2 pages in this last month with Chelsea. It was the toucan and this beautiful giraffe. And then this month we did a chameleon. Here is a side-by-side of my page next to Chelsea's. I really loved the embellishments she added to her page, like on this flower and the dots around the chameleon and the highlights on the stem. I think that it really made the image pop, and it made me think I need to embellish my pages more and add little extra details and patterns and I didn't even think to do that on these pages and in this book. So I love how she did that. And again, we said this on our Instagrams, and which, by the way, I will link hers down below. She is wonderful and I love her style, but we both just love this book, and there's something about it. I've told you guys about it before, but it's just fun sometimes to turn the brain off and do a color by number, and then it turns out beautiful and there's no pressure. And then the other page we did is this shark. And I actually posted this to Instagram, and I almost put the Jaws theme song to it, but I was like, that doesn't quite go with the vibe of the chameleon. But I really loved this shark. I thought it was really neat. The chameleon had a lot bigger spaces, and this one is a little bit more intricate. And even though it took a lot longer and a lot more patience than the chameleon, I think it paid off, and I think it's a really, really stunning, beautiful page. I love down here the greenery and the ocean, and I love Chelsea's page as well. Obviously it's a color by number, so our pages are quite similar, but again, I just love the dots that she adds to hers. I think they look like little sparkles, and it's really, really neat. I really like in this book outlining each section with the marker, going over it again. I saw someone do that in the Amazon reviews, and it made it look more like stained glass. So it takes a lot of time. Like, it's quick to do the page, but going back over each section and doing that, and then adding the white outline, I love that effect. I think it kind of makes it look like a sticker. And so I love doing that, but it does take a lot longer, but I think it pays off in the end, and I'm really, really happy with it. And I love both of our pages, and I'm excited to do another buddy color with her this month, and it's not in this book. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. And in case you didn't see the last time I shared this, and you have Ohuhu markers, and if you have one of these books, or if you're interested, here is a rundown, if you want to pause it, of which markers I use for these colors. And these down here are swapped, but I just carrying this with me, and then just having the page there and not even having to look at this, and just going off of it because it's the same on every page, you know, it's just so lovely. I really, really love this book and want to get some more by Sin Ung. But yep, that is, like I said, by Sin Ung, and it is the Wildlife Stained Glass book. Okay, the last page is a whip. This is a buddy color I'm actually doing with someone over on Instagram named Yaya, and it is Mini Mania Volume 1, and we chose this book page. And I can't remember if this is this is number 110 in the color catalog, and I can't remember if this is the exact one that I used. Obviously the green is a little bit different, and this is a little bit more red than this orange. So, but I searched for 20 minutes and tried to find the exact one, and I could not, and I can't remember if it was this one and I just tweaked it. I'm not sure, but this is as close as I could get. But you can get the gist that it was a green, and then the tan, the brown, and like an orange red, and then a true orange. And this is actually the one that I was telling you about earlier, where I played around with the stone effect here. So this here looked like this. It looked like this and was just simple stones. And I wanted to make it have a little path to the door. So I did that, and I used my acrylic paint, Artistro markers, and I had the most perfect shade to put on the underside of the rock, and then to highlight it. And then I did the tan for the dirt pathway, and then used my acrylic markers to add little blades of grass throughout, and made it kind of grow up here. So I obviously still need to do the little critters and the curtains here, but the books for the most part I think are done. I need to add some shading as well to that, and the shading to the leaves. I think I probably will use colored pencils to shade on this and try to do something with the leaves again. But as far as the grass goes, I just was really, really happy with that. And I'm not sure why this book, I did this page, I shared with you guys, was it last month? Now I can't remember, but in June, I mean. But I loved doing the little glitter on these fish, and I shaded with the pencils up here. And this is one of my favorite pages I've ever done, and I was just so happy with it and had the best time. And I feel the same way about this page. So I don't know if it's just Gabby Wolf's art, or if it's just one of those books where I'm not sure why, but every time I've worked in her books now, I've been really, really happy with the result. And so I don't know, I just am really enjoying it, and it makes me happy that there's 2 of my favorite pages are in the same book that I can look back on. So looking forward to finishing this one off and seeing what other embellishments I can add and play around with it, with maybe some glitter or glossy accents. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finishing this one and sharing it with you guys at the end of August, or most likely the beginning of September. That is all the coloring that I did this month, and I'm really looking forward to August because I already have 4 buddy colors lined up. I'm doing obviously the book one with Yaya, and then the wonderful Rachel. I'm doing a Lumberjack RJ Hampson page. That will be my first RJ Hampson buddy color, I'm pretty sure, which you guys know is my favorite artist. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. And then with Chelsea, I'm doing a swamp page in Alexandra Francie's Kawaii coloring book. And then Adela, I am going to do a fungi page in Melanie Bess's book. And so I've got some more buddy colors set up, as well as some other new pages in Untouched books. So I cannot wait to share that with you guys, and I'll be really excited next time I'm talking to you because it will be right before I go on vacation. So I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see you then. And also, in case you're curious in any of these books, or in the buddy colors, the names that I mentioned, I will put links down below. And also for any supplies I used, in case you were curious. I know I kind of ran through it fast today. But until next time, happy coloring and God bless. Bye.